Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Moon Outdoors. So, over the years, I got many comments like these on my channel. Kayak fishing is dangerous. Kayak fishing is not worth it. Just get a boat. Kayaks are not made for ocean. The chances are, if you're a kayak angler, you probably heard something like this as well. Well, I have to say, I do agree to a slight extent, to a very small degree, because kayak fish can be dangerous, depends on the situation. However, for the most part, I do not agree with these comments. Because kayak fishing is a pretty safe sport if you take proper precautions, and the therapeutic benefits you get from kayaking are far greater than powerboating. Some say kayaking is a physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and mental therapy rolled into one. That's why there are Heroes on the Water program all over the country. It's a program where veterans can get on the water, on the kayak, and get therapy or healing sessions for their PTSD or other mental health problems. I think these negative opinions about kayak fishing really comes from lack of knowledge and experience. Yes, of course, there are some risks in kayak fishing, and the risk increases when you are kayaking in high swell, high winds, strong current, etc. The reality is there are risks in everything we do. Statistically, driving a vehicle is far more dangerous than kayak fishing. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever activity we do, we take precautions for it and make the activity safer for us to enjoy. As long as you remember your 6 P's, kayak fishing is a safe sport. For those who are not familiar with 6 P's, the 6 P's stand for proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So let's talk about what we can do to make kayak fishing safer. So number one, have the right kayak for the purpose. Just like you don't take out a john boat or bass boat out in the ocean, different kayaks are made for different purposes. Very wide and stable kayak doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for the rough conditions. As you can see, I have 3 different kayaks behind me. Since I'm mostly a saltwater kayaker, all 3 kayaks are made for open water and rough conditions. I got a 28.9 inch wide kayak, I got a 28 inch wide kayak, and I got a 26.5 inch wide kayak. You see the pattern here? They are all on the narrower side of a fishing kayak, and they perform very well in open water and rough conditions. 2. Practice self-rescue. Falling in the water or flipping your kayak is a part of kayaking. You need to be able to climb back on the kayak when it happens. This is simply a life-saving skill you should master. Number 3, buddy system. Go out with a friend or friends so you can help each other when one is in distress. Sometimes in a choppy, swelly conditions, self-rescue can be challenging. Also in a medical emergency, a buddy can call for help when you cannot. If you need a buddy on the water, you can use an online forum like NorCalKayakAnglers.com, or there are many kayak fishing Facebook groups like Fresh and Salty to find a buddy for the day. Number 4, forecast. Check the forecast, double check the forecast, and triple check the forecast. If you're not familiar with swells and wind waves, check the video in description where I explain and show you what to look out for. I usually check at least 2 different forecast sites to look at swell, wind, current, and surf conditions if I'm surf launching. There are many different apps or sites to check the forecast, but 2 of my favorites are windy.com and fishweather.com. And often you'll see somewhat different predictions from each site, and when I see that, I just expect the worst prediction. Number 5, tell somebody where you're launching and the area that you'll be fishing, so they can send out a search party if you don't report back in time. So what I do is I tell my family where I'm fishing before I leave home or the night before. Then using the Garmin InReach Mini 2, I message my family before I launch, during fishing if I end up staying on the water longer than I planned, and when I get off the water with the GPS coordinates. Number 6, know your skill level and your limitations. Even after you triple check the forecast, the actual condition can be different. The forecast is just a prediction and the weatherman is known to get it wrong. Once I drive to the launch site, I assess the condition before I even unload my kayak. There are a couple times I turned around and came back home without unloading my kayak. And few times I got off the water very early because of the worsening of the conditions. It is a good idea to go out of your comfort level a little bit to gain experience and increase your skill level, but you shouldn't go out too much out of your comfort level. Number 7 is going to be safety gears. Having the right safety gear is part of planning and preparation. Inarguably, the single most important safety gear is going to be PFD, personal flotation device, also known as life jacket, life vest. So you really need a PFD that is comfortable. I see a lot of people wearing their PFD like this because they are not comfortable, but it should always be zipped up and properly cinched down to work properly. If it's not cinched down snugly, this will happen when you fall in the water. I have a video on how to choose the right PFD and I'll leave it in the description. I've been wearing this QRAS Fisherman PFD for over 5 years now. And as you can see, it's pretty faded and worn out. But I absolutely love this PFD because it is the most comfortable out of the few I've tried on. I see many people who cannot wait to take off their PFD, but for me, it's so comfortable, I usually don't take it off until I have to change my kayaking clothes. Second safety gear, this is also a must-have safety gear, which is dress for immersion. When the water temperature is below 70, you should really start thinking about dressing for immersion. But when the water temperature is 60 or below, you should definitely dress for immersion. I've been wearing this Farmer John wetsuit for 10 years and I recently purchased this dry suit. I got a review video on this NRS Farmer John wetsuit and I also got an overview video on this Mustang Survival Hudson CCS. This is a non-latex dry suit since I have latex allergies, but this will work for pretty much anybody. As I said before, falling in the water is part of kayaking. Not if, but when you fall in the cold water, you will suffer from hypothermia in a matter of minutes. Hypothermia is a serious condition. Some of the moderate to severe symptoms are lack of coordination, lethargy, low pulse rate, low blood pressure, confusion, altered level of consciousness, memory loss, loss of consciousness, and finally, death. So the PFD and dressing for immersion is a must have. I do not get on the water if I don't have either of these two items. Following safety gears are very important and I think they are must have, but I think you can do without them time to time. So VHF Radio, when in distress, you can call for help to nearby kayakers and powerboaters, and also call for Coast Guard or Harbor Master if you need additional assistance or when you cannot get anyone nearby to help you. In case you forget your radio, I recommend staying close to someone who has a radio and close enough so you can communicate by speaking. So next gear is going to be navigation device. It could be a GPS app on your phone or fish finder with the GPS or handheld GPS like this. GPS is also must have. At the minimum, you should have a compass. There were many occasions where it was so foggy I couldn't even tell which direction is to the shore or which direction is to Korea. You can really easily get lost in the fog. And sometimes it's hard to tell which cove you launched out of if you are not familiar with the area. So when you don't have a GPS device, stay close to someone who does. Next safety gear is going to be the bilge pump because it doesn't take too much to crack the plastic and no kayak is watertight. And there are many areas where water can seep in, especially in the choppy conditions. Also, when you flip your kayak, you most likely take some water in as well. As long as you have a small enough fleet, you can use the bilge pump to pump the water out and continue fishing or get back to the shore without sinking your kayak. And if you forget to bring a bilge pump, make sure your buddy has one. Okay, now the following safety gears, I wouldn't categorize them as a must-have, but I think it's really nice to have, and I highly recommend it. So the first one is gonna be a knife or a scissor on you, because when you go overboard, when you flip your kayak, your legs, your arms might get tangled with the fishing line or any kind of leash that you have on your kayak. Leash for your fishing rod, leash for your paddle, leash for your game clip, whatnot. Nowadays, I don't really use the knife anymore because I cut my finger once and I had to go get stitches. I like using a pair of scissors, like a trauma shear like this. So next item is gonna be visibility. Make yourself visible on the water, whether having a bright color kayak or having a bright colored PFD like this, or having a bright colored clothing, bright colored hat, or safety flag. Make yourself visible so the powerboaters and other people can see you and locate you. So another gear that I recommend is a personal locator beacon, PLB, or satellite communicator like this. They both can send out a SOS signal with your exact location so that they know exactly where you are when you're in distress. The last gear I'm going to mention today is going to be an extra paddle. If you're a pedal drive kayaker, you're going to have your paddle and the pedal drive, so you're covered there. But if you're a paddle kayaker, you should have an extra paddle because your paddle can break, you can lose it. I always have a backup paddle in my stealth. So this may seem a lot, especially if you are just starting out kayaking, but the 6-piece will keep you safe. And safety is no accident. Be safe out there. And as always, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. Stay tuned for more. Go outside and enjoy the outdoors.